We have joining us right now in the studio a lawyer, Ahmed Abass, to discuss this development. Many thanks for joining us, Mr. Abass.
Thank you.
If it was this simple, why employ 13 SAN to defend this case in the first instance if WAEC could just come up with this?
Well, I do not know why sometimes we complicate very simple issues in this part of the world. I don't know why it took WAEC this long. And also the presidency should have been able to do a better job of resolving the issue of do you have a certificate or you don't have a certificate.
All right.
You have classmates that attended secondary school with you. I'm sure if you were asked to name about 10 of your classmates in the secondary school, you should be able.
But that wouldn't suffice in terms of if I really attended the school and if I really did sit for the examination. Yeah. CDP has objected to that, and that is not real. Do you think that is enough in terms of what INEC requires, really?
I think we're just trying to make an issue out of absolutely nothing at all. Because if you scrutinize the requirements of the Constitution for the office of a president, it talks about citizenship, talks about age, talks about membership of a political party, talks about being sponsored by a political party, talks about education in section 131 of the Constitution. And in section 318, the interpretation of the educational requirement was explained in section 318 of the Constitution. And what does it require? One, you must have a secondary school certificate or its equivalent, a grade 2 teacher's certificate or City and Guilds certificate, or education up to secondary school certificate.
But I think in this case here, what they are looking at is if you don't have it, say you don't have it. If you do have it,
yeah, then
say you do.
Yes.
You really have it.
Yes.
Perhaps that is the bone of contention here. But tell me if it's just by the wayside. If you need to get attestation, there are some requirements even by WAEC itself. I went online today and I got some things, and part of it is that there must be a police report to say, okay, my original certificate is missing or perhaps is destroyed. That has to be presented. And if it's available, a copy of the old one. Do you think that was done in this case?
Oh, well, we those of us on this side of the divide who didn't know what transpired within the confines of the presidency may not be in a position to say, oh, there was a police report or there was no police report. But for me, the most important thing is that, look, if there is an argument as to whether a certificate, you have a certificate or you don't have a certificate emanating from an institution that is still in existence, there is nothing wrong approaching that institution to probably provide evidence. If I attended Ogun State University, for example, if there's a contention in future that I didn't attend Ogun State University or that the certificate I'm parading is actually forged, that institution is in existence till today, and someone, anybody, can approach the institution, or I myself can approach the institution to say, please testify, attest to the fact, confirm, certify that I actually attended Ogun State University.
Okay, there is
and
an
any document
institution
emanating from
in the
them,
mix of all of this
yes,
argument is the military. The president keeps saying that the certificate is with the military. Where is it?
I don't know whether it is true or false. I read on the social media the interview by retired General Akinriade, who said that in that dispensation, when you want to enroll into the military, that they actually ask for the originals of your certificates then.
So if you have the original, it should be in safekeep, shouldn't it?
Absolutely, but you don't. Do you have records?
If you don't have it right now, what does it say of the institution?
Do you have record in Nigeria? You don't have any record-keeping culture in Nigeria. That I can tell you categorically. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. Well, were you not in this country? How many BVN, how many fingerprints are we done? Do we have a central database? You want to buy a SIM card, they capture your data. You want to obtain a passport in Nigeria, they collect your data. You want to open a bank account, they collect your data. A voter's card, they collect your data. At the end of it all, You do not have a central database.
So you're saying the president is a victim of the archaic system that we operate in Nigeria?
You don't even have a system in existence.
Okay. All right. So let's, on the final note right now, the PDP is objecting to this, and some other reactions we've gotten online, and some Nigerians have said this is really not enough. But do you think this will assuage the people?
You don't need to be assuaged. If you feel aggrieved, we live in a, I mean, this is supposed to be a civilized nation. You have the executive, you have the, if you have any bone of contention with a certificate or nothing, whether what INEC did is right or not wrong, the president doesn't have a certificate or not, the court is there. They should go to court and stop. Nigerians are more interested in all these issues about whether certificate or no certificate. I think Nigerians are just interested in the society moving forward, and people are hungry. People don't have job. There's so much poverty. We just overtook the entire, we just became the most poorest nation on the surface of it, because the vast majority of our people
world capital of poverty.
World capital of the poorest people on the surface of this earth.
But people are saying if you want to fight poverty, if you want to fight corruption, if you're coming to equity, you must come with clean hands. That is the contention.
Can I tell you something? Let me speak on behalf of Nigeria. Is there any difference between PDP and APC? They are all birds of the same feather. They are birds of the same feather. That's the honest truth. Is there any difference between PDP and APC? They are talking about certificate and all the rest of the people in the corridors of power, in the legislative assembly, in the national assembly. Are they not educated people? The greatest looters of our treasury are educated men and women. The greatest looters of our treasury, they are Queen's English-speaking people. Men and women who attended Harvard and Oxford.
The fact that you have this anomaly in the system, does it excuse the fact, the issue of integrity and being honest?
That's what. Look, you can't reprobate and approbate at the same time. You can't sit in the four confines of a man says he has a certificate. You say you don't. I'm not a politician. I'm not a member of PDP. If you agree that the man says he's a school cert holder and WAEC has produced attestation or affirmation that he actually attended a secondary school, you have a right to approach the court. I think that's the best, most civilized thing we should be doing. We shouldn't just be this newspaper, this media, gallivanting and talking grammars and all the rest. It won't solve this country's problem.
All right. On the final note,
issue. Go to court.
On the final note, let's talk about withdrawal of what we have, the affidavit that we have with INEC right now, and now that there is an attestation. Okay, so what will happen? Will that be withdrawn and this replaced with? And is this timely? Can he do that?
Yes, he can. He can. If, for example, look, if I approach the immigration department of Nigeria that my passport is missing, they expect me to bring an affidavit.
We have to leave it there.
I get the passport.
We have to leave it. Many thanks for your time and contributions on TVC News Hour.
Thank you.
Many thanks.